Since 1994, the district has been fortunate to have distinguished businesses and organizations sponsor the Academic Chairs for Teaching Excellence program that rewards and recognizes our district's top teaching talent. Since that time, the sponsors have committed more than $1 million to support our very excellent teaching staff.
It's a tremendous honor to be here today to recognize what I think are amongst the 14th most important and most appreciated people in our entire community. Performing Arts Fort Worth and Bass Hall established the Bayard H. Friedman Chair for Teaching Excellence in the Performing Arts in 1999 to recognize and to encourage the important and excellent programs that the Fort Worth ISD has in music and the performing arts. We also honor one of the founders of Bass Hall, Bayard Friedman, with this award. Today's winner is excellence personified in teaching. There were 17 entries submitted this year for this award. And a distinguished panel studied them all carefully, and they judged the best to be Ramon Niño, mariachi band teacher at Northside High School. Now, mariachi has become recognized as a vital and sophisticated genre of music that's of great significance, great cultural importance in our community. And Mr. Niño has done an excellent job in furthering the study and practice amongst his students of mariachi. Now, Mr. Niño is an Aggie. He has a Bachelor of Music. Aggies do know something about music. Bachelor of Music from Texas A&M Kingsville, and he has been at Northside High School for 11 years. Under his leadership, the Northside High School Mariachi Band has distinguished itself in many competitions. Only last year did they, in the fourth year they've represented Fort Worth at the very important Mexican-American School Board Members Association. They placed second in the state. They have traveled to Albuquerque, New Mexico for a mariachi spectacular where they won first place for high school. And the group has traveled to New York to perform in Carnegie Hall. Now, they earn travel monies for this through donations that they gather when they appear locally for events and at local venues. So I would say Mr. Niño has injected in this a not only art, but a practical understanding of the business world. I congratulate Mr. Niño, and at this point I would like to say Ramon, we have agreed that we are friends by first name, to please join me so I may present you with this.
Let me begin by saying that I am truly honored to be standing up here in front of some of the finest educators that Fort Worth ISD has to offer. Never did I think that someday I would be the recipient of the Bayard Friedman Teaching Chair Award. You see, when I began teaching 11 years ago, I was totally clueless and quite the example of a struggling teacher. I was like many young and inexperienced teachers, full of ambition, full of drive, and yet had no clue of what I was doing. So this shaky beginning in my teaching career helped mold what I am currently able to do with my wonderful students. This recognition would not be possible without several key people in my life. I am truly grateful for these mentors, and I hope to be as excellent someday as they are. Executive Director of Visual and Performing Arts, Christina Wack, has been with me ever since my first year of teaching. She has been my supervisor for every one of those years. She has seen all of my struggles and my few successes. She never has given up on me and constantly pushes me to work hard and strive for great things with my music ensembles. When I was struggling, she pushed me to improve and to find my passion for teaching music. She has been my biggest supporter and my biggest ally in making the mariachi program successful at Northside High School. She is a great leader and mentor. I am thankful to have her as my supervisor, and I am truly thankful for her constant words of encouragement. Since his arrival at Northside High School, Principal Antonio Martinez has been a constant support system for not only Mariachi Espuelas de Plata, but the Mighty Steer Band and myself. Mr. Martinez has never thought twice about helping me achieve my goals and doing whatever is necessary for our students to succeed. He has been several times to our out-of-town functions to support the students, myself, and our music. He has made our dreams become a reality, and I am most thankful for him trusting in me and with all that I do with the students at Northside High School. The passion for music and for children that Sue Barado shares with us all has influenced my teaching style immensely. She is constantly pushing for educators to share their passion for music with students by giving them every opportunity possible to see programs at the Bass Hall. Sue Barado is always positive and in a very cheerful mood. For the last couple of years, she has pushed me to continue striving for and applying for the great recognition that I am here for today. I am glad that she has had some faith in me, and I would like to thank Sue Barado, the Bass Hall, the Bass family, Performing Arts Fort Worth, and those affiliated with the Bayard Friedman for choosing me for this recognition. I am truly humbled to know that such great advocates of music selected me as this year's recipient. Teaching has become my driving force in life. These people have made me become a teacher for the students and not for myself. Teaching is most definitely a selfless process, and I am very fortunate to have some great example of people who put students first. This lesson would not be easy for me to learn if I was not married to the most selfless person in the world. My wife, Victoria, has been by my side for 17 years and has never questioned my loyalty to our family in regards to putting my career first. On May 23rd, she blessed us with our first child, and ever since she has been making sure that I stay busy with the mariachi program and even bringing our son to rehearsals to make sure that the mariachi continues to improve and sustain their recognition. I am most thankful for my loving wife, whom without her I would not be where I am today. She is equally deserving of this award as much as I am. Thank you for putting up with me, loving me, and for standing by my side in everything that I have succeeded in, and most importantly, in what I have failed in. Teaching is what I love to do, and it is all because I teach the greatest students that Fort Worth ISD has to offer. The students at Northside High School are beyond excellent. The students, faculty, and staff are my family, and I would not change anything given the opportunity. This recognition is not only for myself, but also for everyone that has been in my life and made sure that Northside was represented in the best way possible. Thank you to everyone here today. Thank you to the Fort Worth ISD administration. And thank you very much to Fort Worth ISD for providing the best school district that anyone could work for. Thank you.
And we are delighted to be the sponsors for the Freese and Nichols Chair in Secondary Mathematics. And being an engineering firm, I'd like to announce that we love math teachers. That's why we have great employees. And I'm also proud to say that we've been doing this enough years that we now can't remember when we actually started it or how many years we've been doing it. So it's a wonderful program. But we're delighted that this year's winner, Sara Barnes, had a pretty good year. She had a baby girl 3 months ago and now gets a nice little recognition. And but she's done a great job, and there was a great resume on her, and her principal said very kind words about what a passion she has for not only the math subject, for her students. And I think that's what makes these great teachers such great people, is they love their students and as well as their subjects. So without further ado, I'd like to make a presentation to Sara for the teaching chair in secondary mathematics. All yours. Don't be nervous.
First of all, I would love to thank my selection committee for helping select me and believing in me. And of course, Freese and Nichols, Mr. Pence, Ms. Freebie, and Ms. Perez. Thank you so much for this honor. Along with that, I would like to thank my fearless leader, Alice Buckley, for supporting me in all that I do, because sometimes I'm a little bit of a wacky teacher, as Janice Harris can commend to, because I taught her son. She's in here somewhere, Janice. But one of the main things that I believe I'm here for is not necessarily my superpower skills as a teacher, but my belief in community building, listening to students, listening to parents, listening to my colleagues, and then growing from that community. Even as we came in here today, one of the best parts of the day is talking with teachers like Miss Eaton and Miss Cox, of my former student, Janet Diaz, that is now at Paschal, and who actually was part of my recommendation process. So that's cool to see the full circle and see how, even though we may not all know each other, that we're sharing this journey in helping each and every student get to what they're achieving the goals that they have set for themselves, and helping them shoot higher than the plans they've set ahead. So I want to focus just a little bit on Janet, because this is a student, one of my students of my second year teaching. And through that mentorship that I've had with her, I've learned the importance of not only just mentoring others, but seeking out mentorship, even if that means a student. Even if it's a 12-year-old student in front of you that has very little experience in life, that discussing and asking for help, how important that is as educators, that we ask for help, because a lot of us try to hold up the world on our own and have busy schedules and try to do it all ourselves. But as soon as we open the doors to help, we show that, we model that to our students, how helping each other develops a community for learning. So with Janet, another great thing, talking about my daughter, the 3-month, it's great to know that she'll one day have a job, because Janet has promised after Harvard that she's going to hire my daughter, so that's great. So again, thank you for my selection, Mr. Pence and Freese and Nichols, and again, thank you for being such a wonderful boss, Miss Buckley, in supporting what I do, and also thank you to my lovely mother who came to be my guest today, for her long years of support and everything that I do. So thank you.
Crescent has been a sponsor for the Chairs of Teaching of Excellence since 2005. This process is always the highlight of my year. It gives me the opportunity to meet with people in the community, along with teachers, to hear the stories, review the applications, sit through a classroom environment, and pick the best teacher possible for a career in technology. This year, our recipient is Roger Alfaro, and he is truly an inspiration to his students. He shares his love and knowledge for cars with them, and as a result, his students have excelled, receiving numerous awards as they work in their shop. I had the opportunity this year to go see his classroom. Most of the times I don't get to see the classroom, so it was pretty impressive. And the thing that's interesting about Roger is he started in that shop as a Trimble Tech student, and now he's a teacher there. So he definitely knows the walk and the path that these students are on in their lives. So without further ado, let's welcome Roger, congratulate him for his passion for automobiles and for making so many great mechanics out there here in Fort Worth.
I would like, first of all, to thank the Crescent Real Estate Committee for selecting me as this year's recipient of the Chair for Teaching Excellence in Career and Technology. They were truly interested in my program and what it's about and what it has to offer. I would also like to thank, right off the bat, my principal, Mr. Omar Ramos, for supporting me at the high school level, Dr. Charles for backing me up in everything in the CTE part. And I would also like to thank my wife, Gloria, for backing me up in my home stuff. So thanks, everybody. I've had teachers, students, and administrators ask me why I became a teacher instead of continuing working on cars. Especially my freshmen, after I show them some check stubs from back in 1990. Even back in those days, it's a lot of money. I just tell them that it was destiny, and then we just continue in our lesson. You know, we just have a laugh about it. But here's my inspirational story about how I became a teacher. It all started back when I was 14-year-old sophomore at Trimble Tech High School. I was taking body shop in a mixed class of juniors and seniors. But before you knew it, I was helping the upperclassmen with their body work, painting. I also helped around the shop, putting up the tools, locking the tool cage, turning the compressors off at the end of the day. I also competed in a Skills USA contest, which back then was known as VICA. In my senior year, I was walking down the sidewalk. I was leaving school down South Henderson Street, and ran into Mr. King. He's walking right, and we were going the same direction. So he grabs my skinny little neck, and he goes, "You're going to be teaching this class one day." And I just scoffed, and I said, "No way. Some of these guys are crazy." Well, 7.5 years later, I'm teaching there at Tech and had my class out in the shop. And I look out the garage door, and who do I see coming down that same sidewalk? Mr. King. So he's walking down the sidewalk, and he's smiling, laughing, he's pointing at me. And he mouths, "I told you." Great story. Thank you.
Kroger is proud to present the award for Academic Chair for Teaching Excellence in Special Education. Education is one of our corporate giving focus areas for the Kroger Company. We support local schools, school district programs, and we have a scholarship program for our associates who are currently attending college. Kroger has a history of employing special education students in our stores, and many have likely come from Fort Worth ISD. We recognize and appreciate the important role that special education teachers have in preparing their students to reach their full potential in life. This year's recipient of the special education category is Kierra Edgar. Kierra has taught for 9 years, and she's spent all of those years at Fort Worth ISD. She's currently teaching at Boulevard Heights. She's a graduate of East Central University, has her master's from Tarleton University, and on the same day that she found out she was receiving this award, she found out she got her principal certification. So it was a big day for her. I want to thank Jason Byrne and Betty Nethery, who were part of the selection committee. They're here today, so thank you guys both. The judging committee was incredibly impressed with Kierra's interview. Her application, her interview, her teaching demonstration were all high caliber and gave us insight into her depth and care and concern as a teacher. We all enjoyed getting to know Kierra and appreciate her dedication to her students. And so I wanted to read a quick little part of her essay that she submitted. A high quality of life looks different for each student. I have a huge responsibility to guide each student to reach their potential. It is important that I never try to determine what their potential is because I have no way of knowing. Most people desire friendship, purpose in life, and to feel valued. My students are no different. If I can simultaneously teach them to acquire friendship, purpose, value, and academics, the sky is the limit for my students. And I know that her principal at Boulevard Heights, Paul Kaufman, is also extremely proud of her. So, Kierra, I just want to say congratulations to you.
Several years ago, I was sarcastically asked, "What are you trying to do? Save the world one child at a time?" At first, I was a bit offended. But as I began to think about it, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. You see, I work with some of the district's most challenging students, Many come with low self-esteem, little hope, and some with no vision. I have an opportunity every day to see beyond that hard outer shell and see the true person within. I realized a very long time ago that my students with autism, intellectual disabilities, and very challenging behaviors aren't really that different from you and I. You see, they want the same things we do. They want friends to tell jokes with on the weekends. They want to be loved just as they are. And they want to know that they have purpose and they have value. So I'm honored each and every day to be chosen to guide these students along their way. But what I've realized on this journey is that by changing the world one student at a time, I'm also impacting their families. I'm helping a community become accepting of differences instead of just tolerating others. And I'm creating additional opportunities for all of my future students. So yes, I will continue my journey of changing the world one student at a time. I'd like to thank Ms. Jennifer Wersal and Kroger for sponsoring the Kroger Chair of Teaching Excellence in Special Education. I'm honored to represent Kroger, but I'm also honored to represent my students, Boulevard Heights and Fort Worth ISD, in my effort to create a better place for our students with disabilities. Also, Mr. Paul Kaufman, my principal, for just always pushing me and expecting more and allowing me to be creative and try new things. And to my sweet husband, Jeff, there is no way that I could put in the time and the effort that I do without your support. And we have 4 kids, so it's a lot of support, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
I can't believe it's been 13 years since Dr. Cynthia Miller and Sue Barato and some other people and I, all feisty women, tried to get together and get the art and music teachers back in the education in the elementary schools. Dr. Linares knows what I'm talking about. And today, I was told by Beverly Fletcher that we have added over 200 art programs since that time, which is just astonishing. When I was in the throes of doing all that advocacy work, running around to meetings and raising money and planning events, I thought I should ask my kids, what they think about arts. Does it really matter? Does it really make a difference? And I asked my boys, what does it do for you being involved in dance and art and music and theater? And they said, well, first, it gives us a place to be creative, because we aren't able to be creative in a lot of our other classes. Second, it relieves stress when the tests and the academics get really tough. And third, when we don't like being who we are, we get to be somebody else. And those of you with teenagers know exactly what that's all about. So I am just so thrilled that Mr. Orona left a successful career in advertising to come to teach our elementary students and to inspire them and motivate them. And he went through an incredibly rigorous process to be selected, including classroom observations as well as the portfolio review. So I know absolutely he is incredibly deserving of this honor, and I am proud to give it.
First off, I would like to offer my many, many thanks and gratitude to the Angela D. Paulos Foundation, Ms. Flora Brewer, and Ms. Cynthia Fisher-Miller, and the other members of the selection committee for this wonderful award in the visual arts. But I also want to add that I'm just greatly honored and I'm very humbled for just being selected for this award for this year. I know it's a very competitive award that all the art teachers go for every year, and I'm just very sincerely appreciative of it. But I also like to take this opportunity to thank my family, especially my sister, Penny Clanton, who has always been a source of great inspiration and encouragement to me. I also like to offer my special thanks to my principal, Mata Plata, whose leadership is second to none, and whose unfaltering belief in me allowed me to do great things with our kids in the class. In my my own belief, I think she's the best principal in the world. And I also want to thank the art director, Beverly Fletcher, who's always been very much of great support to me in the classroom. And a huge thanks to my peers and to the parents at my school who provide me with great help to accomplish much with our kids. It is on their behalf that I accept this most wonderful award. They honor me each and every day with what they accomplish in my class. And with this award, I accept it in their honor. Thank you.
We've been honored to sponsor this award for a number of years, and personally, I'm honored to be able to participate in this because I have a daughter that will be going through Fort Worth ISD, and I love seeing all these teachers and figuring out which school I'm going to have to steer her to so I can get the best of all worlds. We had a really great interview process this year. In spite of our strict no sweat policy, Ms. Warner, a teacher of 5 years, did make us sweat quite a bit during an intense Tabata exercise, which is designed to humiliate and exercise. But Laura's been teaching in Fort Worth IC for 5 years, 11 years total, and it is a blessing to the school district to have her. She's the head coach for the softball program, but what really impressed us was her discussion about the PE program that she runs. And this is the group of students who haven't elected to choose or haven't found an athletic organization they want to participate in. They're not in band. And so maybe they don't view PE or athletics as an important part of their life, and she changes that. Just the way she talked about it, the program she has, the way she gets them moving was energetic and exciting to us. One of our committee members, Laura Patton, is here as well, and I think we all agree that it was really invigorating to watch her, and I can only imagine what it's like to be one of her students. But before we introduce her, Laura is celebrating her birthday today.
I really could not think of a better way to spend my birthday. I could not.
Thank you. I'm honored to join such a remarkable and distinguished group of educators who represent the best that Fort Worth ISD has to offer. I'm humbled because there are simply so many outstanding, passionate, creative educators out there who challenge, inspire, and support their students every day. Thank you to Linebarger, Goggan, Blair, and Sampson LLP for taking the time to acknowledge me for what I love to do so much on a daily basis with the students at South Hills High School. Thank you to the panel that had to endure 4 minutes of a grueling Tabata workout while keeping a smile on their face the entire time, some even dressed in their Sunday best as well. You guys really were troopers that day. I really do appreciate that. I would also like to share this award with my students who took a small part of this journey with me. Without a doubt, they have collectively taught me more than I have taught them. Thank you to Fort Worth ISD for allowing me to teach these amazing individuals each and every day. Thank you to Dorothy Gomez for her continued commitment to our campus, our faculty, and most importantly, our students. You are a fearless leader, and to this, I attribute all of our continued success at our campus. Thank you to Ms. Georgie Roberts, who is the head of all physical education in Fort Worth ISD, for letting me teach a subject that she holds so near and dear to her heart. Last but never least, my husband, for listening to me for endless hours about my success, concerns, and yes, even tears at times, and for being nothing but supportive of my every endeavor. You have always understood my passion for my students and my will to see them succeed, and without your continued support and love, none of this would be possible, and for this I thank you. In thinking back and reflecting upon how I have come to find myself standing here today, it would have to be the kids I serve each day. From an early age, I have always found myself working with children, whether it be the daycare, the softball field, or the gym. I love to see them succeed with every venture and to know that I was a part of that success. Physical education is not just roll out the balls anymore. PE teachers at all levels are the hub of the will of the school. PE teachers see all students and are able to connect with many of them on levels that other staff may not. This is why I love my job and why I'll continue to teach kids to be active and to love activity for as long as I teach. Thank you.
Radio Shack is proud to have been a sponsor of this program since 1994, and we are proud to once again honor another great Fort Worth ISD teacher 20 years later. Radio Shack is a strong supporter of education initiatives and the maker community. Teachers help inspire our next generation of inventors and makers, so we are thrilled to be a part of this event today. I have to say I was blown away by the amount of dedication the teachers showed through this process. But one teacher stood out. Brian Waddell showed an incredible amount of professionalism and dedication to teaching. While I'm told his French accent is very good, I have to say I was most impressed with Brian's commitment to helping his students outside of the classroom and beyond French vocabulary. Brian said, "Every day I have the opportunity to help students grow, mature, and learn, whether through classroom instruction or informal conversation. I consider that a privilege, and that's the main reason why I truly love what I do." Please help me in congratulating Brian.
I want to begin by saying thank you. I have the best job in the world, and I thank God for the opportunity to work with my students on a daily basis. I would also like to thank Mr. Steve Thompson and the Radio Shack Corporation and Fort Worth ISD for their support. I'm fortunate to be joined today by two rather important people. The first is my principal, Mr. Omar Ramos, whose arm-twisting and glowing recommendation are directly responsible for my winning this award. Mr. Ramos, you are a consummate professional, and it's a pleasure to work at your school. Thank you for your support, your patience, and your indulgence. Thank you also for your occasional visits. I learned yesterday that his son is learning some French on YouTube, so before long, they're gonna just go to Paris. They won't even need to call me for help. He's learned a lot and sitting in my room occasionally too. The second is a young man who was kind enough to recommend me for this honor, Mr. Norberto Martinez. Norbert, 4 years of teaching and mentoring you through thick and thin sometimes have been an incredible experience. You've motivated me and pushed me to be a better teacher and a better man. Words cannot express how proud I am of you. Thank you. And as much as it pains this horned frog to say it, I'm excited to see you become a Longhorn or Aggie, we're not sure yet, next year. Ever since this award was announced, colleagues, family, and friends have told me the same thing. You deserve it. I guess I don't see it that way. I work with a group of professionals and students who day in and day out make me better at my job. With my coworkers, I share methods and approaches. With my students, it's nerdy moments, playlists, and internet memes. I now have a deep appreciation for both formative assessment techniques and gangster rap. I suppose that makes me a well-rounded person. This award isn't just for me. As far as I'm concerned, it's a recognition of the hard work and dedication of the people at Trimble Tech High School, who work miracles on a daily basis. I've seen the impossible happen at Tech, further convincing me that I work at the best school in Fort Worth ISD. Once again, thank you for your support and your help in making this district, our schools, and our students better, even better than they already are.
Before we talk about Jennifer, I wanted to thank all the educators in this room, principals, board members, staff. Without you, the businesses in this room could not continue to grow and do what we do. So I just wanted to thank you for that first. Jennifer, I think we had over a dozen essays this year, and it was kind of a taunting task. She had a lot of competition, and we've picked 4 that came and actually did our review with them and did the class. And what I saw in her was the passion to teach, the passion to be a coach, the passion to take somebody from this level to the next. And it was a difficult decision. We had 4 very good people in our class, and we actually were going back and forth and back and forth. And I just wanted to thank her for the love that she has for the students in her class. And that was one of the things that I've always seen. I don't know how many years we've done this. It's been 7 or 8. I've kind of lost count. But all the years that I've done it, everything that they've always had in common is their passion to love their students and the enjoyment for what they do. So Jennifer, thank you so much for what you've done for our community and our students. And congratulations.
On a side note, I must thank this man. When I instinctively asked him to put his cell phone up during my interview, he still selected me as a recipient. At age 5, I went to career day at school as a teacher and was honored when they selected me to go to a 5th grade classroom to observe for the day. In third grade, my teacher let me come to her room throughout the summer to organize books and put bulletin boards together. I was the student that was devastated when summer break occurred. I was told while attending Austin College that most people either become a teacher because they had amazing experiences at school or bad experiences. And I can say that I've had teachers, both good and not so good, that have inspired me to stay in the classroom. At the beginning of each year, I tell my students who become my kids that my job is to teach them about government and that they can either learn to use the government or be used by it, because it's going to affect them from the time they're born until after their death. From voting to paying taxes to traffic tickets, my students hear my real-life stories every day, and hopefully I give them the skills to help them in the future with those government issues. It is often the moments outside the classroom time that my kids have had the most profound impact on my life. The lunchtime conversation when I should be grading, but instead I'm assisting a student that was a non-traditional college student, insisting that they too can go achieve their dreams. From the student who went to our recent senior day of community service and came back telling me he'd already scheduled a return visit to volunteer because the day had changed his life perspective on who receives food assistance. I received an email this week from the student and the family that nominated me for this award, informing me that she had just received an internship at the White House. There is no greater moment for a teacher than seeing your students achieve their dreams. And she didn't hesitate when I told her I was coming for a visit. I would like to thank Sewell Lexus for their generous donation and want them to know that this award is going to be used to improve my education, which will in turn affect over 300 students per year. I would like to thank Pascal High School, Dr. Terry Mossage, the administration, the staff, and my great colleagues, including Allison Eaton. We push each other every day to continue to excel. It has been said a Pascal teacher is productively neurotic, self-motivated, self-disciplined, and compulsively driven to wake up each day to do their best because it's part of their DNA. Pascal allows me to use my creativity and my quirkiness in the classroom to educate our next generation of citizens. I would finally like to thank my family, especially my husband, Eric Cox, because he doesn't question the amount of hours I put into my job, nor the wake up at 3 a.m. to fix a lesson plan moments that I have, nor the clean clothes chair that exists in our house 9 months out of the year. I also want to thank my two sons because they have taught me patience, that not everyone is a cookie cutter student, and that some days a smile is exactly what a child needs to turn their life around. From my grandmother that taught in a one-room schoolhouse to my mother and father that never questioned my decision to become a teacher instead of go to law school, I know that I am very thankful for the life that I've been given. I know I was born in a country where I have a career. I'm able to have the freedom to teach, educate, speak my opinions, and to conclude with the words of James Madison, I know that the advancement and diffusion of knowledge is the only guardian of true liberty. Thank you.
For the past 13 years, Lockheed Martin has been honored to present the Fort Worth ISD Chairs for Teaching Excellence in elementary math and science to 2 deserving teachers, and this year is no exception. At Lockheed Martin, we certainly appreciate teachers that can motivate our future scientists and engineers. Through initiatives like Engineers in the Classroom, we're partnering with local Fort Worth schools by going into the classrooms to inspire students in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. We also provide volunteers for our local schools for junior achievement. Through this volunteer activity, we get to see the impact that teachers have on our students every single day. We're especially thankful for dedicated, passionate, and outstanding math and science teachers. They inspire our future employees. I personally have fond memories of my 3rd grade math teacher that taught me long division. I remember the page being this long, and I was so proud when I got to the end, ran up to the teacher, and I had the right answer. My 9th grade science teacher and math teacher inspired me to be an engineer, and I don't think I'd be here today if it weren't for that 9th grade teacher. Who knows, I'd probably have to have been an English major, and with my grammar and southern drawl, I know I couldn't have made a living
So without your inspiration, we couldn't be here today, and our two recipients today are an inspiration to their students, and that came through in a resounding manner in their presentations. So let me start with our first recipient. It's with great honor that I introduce the Lockheed Martin Chair for Teaching Excellence for Elementary Science, Mr. Lesta Sipma.
It is an honor to be the recipient of the Lockheed Chair for Teaching Excellence in Elementary Science. I would like to thank Lockheed Martin for this award. Mr. McFarland, thank you. I would also like to thank the panelist members who interviewed me and participated in my States of Matter lesson. The panelists should receive an award for their performance in role-playing as kindergarten students. You guys were awesome. That was so fun. My students, they learn to love school because they are active participants in their own learning. I teach thematically and teach all of the subjects in context. And by doing so, my students are excited about learning. I try to make all of my lessons as interactive and as engaging as possible. And if you come to my classroom, don't expect to see students sitting in nice, neat little rows. You're more likely to see kind of controlled chaos. It's a lot of and a lot of people having fun, including the teacher. You may find us taping my stuffed koala bear on a skateboard as we attempt to stop inertia. You might find us in the outdoor garden drawing pictures of our pumpkin Jack, who's out there right now decomposing. You may find us analyzing data on our bird watching graph as we determine which urban bird is the most common bird in our neighborhood. You may even find us in the science lab we're doing this next week, Ms. Benavides, with one hand covered with lard and the other hand without lard as we immerse our hands into ice water to experience how blubber acts as an insulator for polar bears. The Fort Worth ISD vision is to ignite in every child a passion for learning. I hope that through my lessons that I will instill a love of learning, and perhaps one day my students will become some of Lockheed's greatest future scientists. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Our next recipient is, I also want to introduce with honor, she is 6 years in Fort Worth ISD, TCU Go Frog graduate, and she was receiving the Lockheed Martin Chair for Teaching Excellence in Elementary Math, Ms. Stephanie Marie Poe.
Thank you, Lockheed Martin, and the judging committee, both my behaved and my troublemaking students, for choosing me as your elementary math chair of excellence. I couldn't be more grateful and honored to hold this esteemed position. I thought for this speech I'd actually share one of the questions asked during the interview portion for this award. I was asked, why did you become a teacher? My favorite question. The perfect opportunity to give credit where credit is due. The names and stories of a few people who had inspired me along the way naturally poured out of me. I answered, my father, who always said he knew I'd be a teacher, when on the first day of kindergarten, as a 6-year-old, I began telling the other students in the class where to sit. I said, you sit here, you sit here, you sit here, and I'll sit here. I talked about my father's love for math as an accountant and his contagious excitement when we went over math homework at the kitchen table. Thank you, Dad. I also answered my nurturing mother, who instilled in me love and patience for children. Most importantly, patience. Thank you, Mom. Lastly, I answered Miss Austin. Oh, Miss Austin, the number one reason I am standing here today. This amazing 7th grade math teacher who genuinely cared for me truly changed my life. She changed this unmotivated, very poor decision-making, barely passing 12-year-old girl into a math-believing and math-achieving math honors student. Miss Austin was actually the first person I notified upon hearing the news of receiving this award. She emailed me, and this was her response. Oh, my sweet young lady, I'm so proud and happy for you. You've always been a blessing to me. Thanks for sharing with me. It means the world to me. To this day, still wishing to make her proud, serves as a reminder the power an effective teacher has on a student. The perfect example of the teacher I strive to be. Thank you, Miss Austin. Of course, after I became a teacher, I received an abundance of support from some absolutely great administrators, including my principal, Monica Ordaz, my husband, other math mentors along the way, and of course my students. To them, I all owe a huge thanks. Thank you again so much, Fort Worth ISD and Lockheed Martin, for allowing me to accept this prestigious award today.
I've been doing this since 2005. We have had the Teaching Chair of Excellence in Elementary Reading since 2001, I think, and I look forward to it. I love it. It's just to get to honor people that give so much. And so with that said, this year we had a lot of excellent applicants for the reading chair. And as our committee was doing as they were coming in doing the demonstrations, we all agreed and we thought we really had one chosen because she was just hitting us, all of us, all down the line from the application process to the demonstration. And in walked Kathy, and she just blew us all away. And so I'm very honored and would like to present to you Kathy Petrie, and she's at Morningside Elementary.
When Keelan entered my classroom, he was sullen and unwilling to do what I asked of him. "There are too many words on the page," he would complain. He was convinced he would fail, so I carefully crafted my lessons so he could experience small successes each day. The next month, he asked me to move him to my highest reading group. I hesitated just a little. It would mean he would skip 2 levels. Keelan had been paralyzed by the fear of failure, and now he was ready to take a huge risk. I proved to him that he could do it, and now it was his turn to prove that I was right. And he did. When Hilario finished reading a book that would have been too difficult for him 3 weeks before, he boasted, "Miss Petrie, this book is easy." After I introduced a new book to my group, Lisa remarked excitedly, "Miss Petrie, I've always wanted to read Jack and the Beanstalk, and now I get to." And finally, Jovan stopped in the middle of a page and looked up at me with eyes as big as saucers and wonder in his voice and exclaimed, "Miss Petrie, I can read." To the Jovans of this world, I say yes. And now you have the most fundamental skill you need to become a good student, have a successful career, and make a positive impact on your community. I want to thank Outreach Communications so much for supporting literacy in Fort Worth ISD and for giving me this really special honor. I want to thank my principal, Ms. Carradine, for giving me the very best job in the whole world. And I want to thank Fort Worth ISD. For 18 years ago, they provided reading recovery training for me, which not only helped me find my passion in life, teaching struggling readers how to read, but also gave me the tools I needed to do it successfully.
It's really an honor to be here with you today and be a part of the program again this year and present the Chair for Teaching Excellence in Secondary Science. Science is a critical subject for students, and it certainly plays a really important role in the oil and natural gas business. Geologists, engineers, and scientists are vital to our ability to help develop the nation's energy resources. At Devon, we're strong supporters of STEM education and science, and we like to recognize what we call science giants. or educators who provide inventive and hands-on science instruction to spark students' interest in the subject. The individual recognizing this year in secondary science, Vanessa Adia, is truly a science giant and is incredibly deserving of this award. Vanessa's been with Fort Worth ISD for 4 years and teaches at Benbrook Middle High School, where she currently serves as the campus's science team leader. She's devoted to engaging students and their families in the learning process and works tirelessly to break down any barriers that can stand in the way of her student success. Her principal, Richard Penland, shared that Vanessa is a teacher who embodies the word dedicated, leagues beyond any other he has worked with during his 20 years in education. And she is held in high esteem by her colleagues on campus. It's been said that a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. I'm convinced Vanessa does all of these things. Thanks for all that you do, and I'm so pleased to recognize you as a secondary science.
As the 2014 Chair for Secondary Science, I am grateful to be recognized for the work that I am so passionate about. And no matter what subject all of the teachers here today represent, I believe that we all teach science in our classrooms. We create our lesson plans based upon our background knowledge of our students and our hypothesis of how they will best learn that material. During and after teaching material, we collect data to discover if our hypothesis was correct. And sometimes we discover that our hypothesis was wrong. And we, like all good scientists, adjust our hypothesis and try again. We teach in different ways if our data tells us that there is an opportunity to still do so. And we keep records of good lessons and strategies so that we can use them on different sets of students to see if we can garner the same results. We are always learning alongside our students so that we adapt our teaching methods to their learning styles. Every good teacher is inherently a good scientist. And as such, we know that the environment in which we teach has a direct impact upon our students' learning. Certain factors of our teaching environment, like class size, facilities, equipment, and support, are ever-changing and determined by outside factors. But each teacher has the ability to create a safe and fun learning environment, perhaps in spite of these other factors, by allowing ourselves and our students to take risks and adapt when necessary. We all learn in different ways, and we all stumble. But as teachers, we have the opportunity to show students that those little trips and falls are merely part of the process. We know that in learning, as in a science experiment, errors serve to show us that the material simply needs to be approached in a different way for a different outcome. There are no mistakes in an experiment or a classroom, only opportunities to learn differently. Thank you.
Allison Eaton is the award recipient in secondary English this year. She is truly a special individual, and that comes right through from just some of the basic information about her. She's already been recognized as a very special teacher within the Fort Worth ISD. In 2012, she received the Fort Worth ISD Superintendent Scholar Teaching Award. And above and beyond that, she's been recognized on a national stage. In 2012, she was also recognized with the Stanford University Exceptional Teaching Recognition Award, and in 2014, the Amherst College Swift-Moore Teaching Award. So not just a special teacher within the Fort Worth ISD, but a special teacher on a national stage. Even more impressive to me was the fact that you really see her, you will really see in a moment just what a great example she is of paying it forward. It's clear that she was heavily influenced by the great teachers in her life, and she has now become one of those teachers for her students, not just affecting them during the course of the school day, but for many years to come. And that is what really motivates her. So She's not just a wonderful teacher, but a wonderful person, and it's our honor to present her with this award this year. Thank you, Allison.
I'd like to start by thanking Chase for their generous support of the teaching chair program, specifically Tammy Marcelino, she's not here today, but for all of her kindness during the selection process. And I was blown away when I walked in today and saw some of the members of the interviewed committee here. Celia, thank you for coming. And it's been so nice to meet Glenn and to talk with Todd. I learned so much about myself as a teacher in responding to the essay prompts and in talking with the interview panel. Teachers don't often really get the chance to pull back from our day-to-day lives in the classroom and reflect on our broader view of education. In doing so, I've come to realize first and foremost the great debt that I owe to my students. This is my 23rd year in the classroom, and it's staggering to realize that more than 3,500 high school students have called me their English teacher. That's crazy. like 3,500, that's a lot of kids. These kids have brought more into my life than I can possibly convey to you. They are bright and strong and funny and frustrating and so very talented. They have taught me to see the world through their eyes, and I know for sure that I am a better, more compassionate, more open-minded person because of it. I'm also sure that I would not be where I am today without the love and support of my own teachers, past and present. Growing up, my teachers taught me to love learning. They made me believe in my abilities and in myself, and they helped me to find my voice in the world. The community of teachers I have the pleasure of working with every day, the faculty, the administration, and staff of Pascal High School, they hold me up, they keep me laughing, and they impress me more than I can possibly say with their friendship, their selflessness, their determination, and their steadfast commitment to education. And I'm so excited that Dr. Terry Mossage and Jennifer Andrews-Cox are here from Pascal to share today with me. We often hear far too many negative things about the state of education in this country. And while it's certainly true that there's much work to be done, in many ways that we could be better serving our kids, there's so much that we're doing right. There are teachers in my building, and I'm sure in every one of yours, who seemingly never go home. When I was little, I actually believed, and I'm guessing a lot of you did too, that teachers lived in the classroom, that they just slept in their desks and always stayed there. And I'm not surprised that we thought this, and we, because you know you did too. So many teachers are in their rooms before it's even light outside, planning and preparing before the kids come in the morning. And they're long after the last bell is rung, helping and tutoring and mentoring our kids. I am so proud to be part of such a passionate group of people who strive to engage and empower students to discover what they think, to find their voices, and to use them. I'm invested in my students because teaching is not just what I do, it is who I am. And I am so excited to have my mother here today. She was and is the best teacher that anyone could ever ask for. By honoring me, you're really honoring her. Few people will ever know the sacrifices that she has made to allow me to be where I am today. Again, thank you so much for this award. I am humbled and honored to have been chosen, and this has not been your typical Wednesday.
I've always had a great appreciation for teachers and the hard work and the great work they do, but it wasn't until my daughter was born and started to wake up on the wrong side of the bed that I truly appreciated the early childhood folks. There's been many mornings where I drop her off and we just say, we tried our best today, good luck. And these guys always keep a positive attitude because at the end of the day, they always tell you, well, she woke up on the wrong side of her nap nanny, good luck to you tonight. So, this year, we had a lot of great candidates. XTO's been doing this for several years now. All the candidates definitely deserve this award, but based on the early interviews, I think our team pretty much came to the conclusion early on that Todd was the right person for this job. Just amazing at a lot of the work what he did was able to do to take kind of that core curriculum and teach it to young children, which is often a really challenge issue for those with taking that difficult curriculum. From there, the group pretty much decided if he could talk, he could get the award, but when he came in, he really stole and showed what was on paper to be true about himself. We got to share in one of his activities, and as adults, it was kind of entertaining because he started us off by asking us to pull out our imaginary book bags. And as we pulled the book bags, everyone at the table pulled them out. Then he asked us to take out our math hats, and everybody pulled out their math hats, and he kept us engaged the entire time of the process. And after it was completed, I just kind of thought to myself that it was kind of amazing that he could pull out imaginary book bags and keep 4 adults entertained, and throughout the process, he's got to be pretty amazing in the classroom. So it's my pleasure to introduce Todd Hepworth and present him with the early childhood check. And this check is actually real and not imaginary. So.
Well, thank you, JD, and thank you, XTO Energy, for sponsoring the Teaching Chair for Excellence in Early Childhood. I'm here today because of 2 outstanding women. Jeannie Robinson, who was my principal for 7 years before she retired last year, and my beautiful wife, Michelle, saw in me something that I didn't see in myself, and they encouraged me every step of the way. My students come from all over the district. The most important lesson that I've learned is to accept them for exactly who they are when they come to me, and not to wish that they were different in any way. So here's what I see on the first day of kindergarten. We come from Diamond Hill and Northside, Hanley and Stop 6, Fairmont and Tanglewood and Mistletoe Heights. We come from Ridgely and Como, Morningside and Wedgwood and Overton Park. We come from big houses with big yards, 1 child for 4 bedrooms, or 4 children in 1 bedroom, small apartments with no yards and everything in between. We live with 2 parents, 1 parent, foster parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins. We live in skin the colors of French toast, chocolate cupcakes, creamy peanut butter, peaches, honey, cocoa, butterscotch, cinnamon, coconut, chili powder. We speak Spanish, Korean, French, Vietnamese, German, English with R's that still sound like W's. We come to school tired because we moved to a new place last night, hungry because there wasn't time for breakfast, and angry because Mom made us wear our Sunday shoes to school. We're jaded because we were in pre-K last year and 3 years of daycare before that. Terrified because this is the first time we've ever been away from home for so long. And jubilant because we see a familiar face across the room. We are, each of us, exquisitely, triumphantly, sometimes painfully different. And here in this place called kindergarten, we soar together. Thank you.
I am so extremely proud to be here today. Teachers, I want to thank you. Your passion, your dedication, that commitment to our children comes through. Our children come from everywhere. They come from every different aspect of life. And what you are able to do is to open their eyes to a world that in the future will be that which they became a part of, and they will be the ones leading us to our future. And with that, I will just say, have a good day. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to honor the educators of Fort Worth ISD. Thank you very much.